courthouse smelled like old wood and broken promises. I sat in the back row of the probate courtroom, watching my brother Marcus and my sister Diane sign document after document at the plaintiff's table. Their lawyer, a sharp-faced woman named Brennan, slid papers across the polished surface with practiced efficiency. My mother's will, amendments, affidavits, each signature another nail in the coffin of what our family used to be. Judge Carolyn Reeves presided from the bench, her reading glasses perched on her nose, her expression neutral but attentive. She'd been a family court judge for 23 years. She'd seen every variation of greed and grief that inheritance could produce. I wondered if she'd seen anything quite like this. "Mr. Holloway," she said, addressing Marcus, "you're claiming that your mother, Patricia Holloway, was of sound mind when she executed this codicil, removing your brother Daniel from her will entirely. Is that correct?" "Yes, Your Honor." Marcus's voice was smooth, confident. He wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Our mother was very clear in her final months. Daniel had abandoned the family. He refused to visit her during her illness. He showed no interest in her care or her wishes. She felt he'd forfeited any claim to her estate. Every word was a lie. Every single word. I'd been there. I'd held my mother's hand through chemotherapy. I'd slept in a chair beside her hospital bed. I'd read to her when she was too weak to hold a book, played her favorite music when the pain was too much for conversation. I'd been there until the very end, until her last breath, until the moment Marcus and Diane had me physically removed from the funeral home, because my presence was upsetting the family. Judge Reeves looked at the documents before her. "And you have witnesses to support this claim?" "We do, Your Honor." Brennan stood, gestured to two people sitting behind Marcus and Diane. Mrs. Patricia Holloway's nurse and her financial advisor. Both will testify that Daniel Holloway was notably absent during the final 6 months of his mother's life. The nurse was someone I'd never seen before. The financial advisor was Gerald Chen, a man who'd managed my mother's investments for 15 years and who I knew with absolute certainty had never met me. They were going to lie. They were going to stand up in this courtroom and lie, and Marcus and Diane were going to inherit everything. The house in Riverside, the investment portfolio, the life insurance, the small art collection my mother had spent 40 years building. $3.2 million divided between two people instead of three. I should have felt rage, should have felt the urge to stand up, to shout, to disrupt this carefully orchestrated performance, but I felt something else, something colder, something that had been building for the 6 months since my mother's death, through the funeral I wasn't allowed to attend, through the lawyer's letters informing me I'd been removed from the will, through the discovery of just how far Marcus and Diane were willing to go. I felt certainty. "Your Honor," I said, standing up. My voice echoed in the quiet courtroom. Judge Reeves looked up, surprised. "Mr. Holloway? Daniel Holloway?" "Yes, Your Honor." "You're not represented by counsel." "No, Your Honor, I'm representing myself." Marcus turned in his seat, his face flushing. "What are you doing here?" "Attending a public hearing about my mother's estate," I said calmly. "I believe I have that right." Brennan stood quickly. "Your Honor, Mr. Daniel Holloway was properly notified of these proceedings. He chose not to retain counsel or file any objection. He has no standing to—" "I filed an objection," I interrupted, 3 weeks ago, with the court clerk. I have the receipt." I pulled the paper from my jacket pocket, held it up. Judge Reeves frowned, gestured to her clerk. The young man hurried over, took the receipt, brought it to the judge. She examined it, her frown deepening. "Ms. Brennan, do you have a copy of this objection?" Brennan's confident expression flickered. "No, Your Honor. We were never served with—" "Because it was filed directly with the court," I said, "as is my right under Probate Code Section 8250. I'm contesting the validity of the codicil removing me from my mother's will. I'm alleging undue influence, fraud, and elder abuse." The courtroom went very still. Marcus's face had gone from flushed to pale. Diane gripped the edge of the table, her knuckles white. Brennan looked like she'd been slapped. "Those are serious allegations, Mr. Holloway," Judge Reeves said. "Yes, Your Honor. I have evidence to support them." "What kind of evidence?" I reached into my bag, slowly, carefully, aware that sudden movements in courtrooms made bailiffs nervous. I pulled out a tablet, held it up. "A video confession," I said, "recorded by my mother, Patricia Holloway, 2 weeks before her death. In it, she explains exactly what happened. How Marcus and Diane coerced her into signing the codicil. How they threatened to withhold pain medication if she didn't comply. How they told her I'd abandoned her. That I wanted her to die so I could inherit. How they isolated her from anyone who might tell her the truth. The silence that followed was absolute. Even the court reporter had stopped typing, staring at me with wide eyes. Marcus found his voice first. That's insane. That's a complete fabrication. Our mother never. She did, I said quietly. She recorded it on her phone. She sent it to my email with instructions to only open it if something happened to her will. She knew what you were planning. She knew, and she tried to protect herself. Protect me. Protect her wishes. Your Honor, Brennan said, her voice sharp with desperation. This is highly irregular. We haven't had a chance to examine this alleged evidence. We don't know if it's authentic, if it's been doctored, Then let's watch it, Judge Reeves said. She gestured to the bailiff. Set up the courtroom display. Mr. Holloway, please provide the video file. I walked forward, my legs steady despite the adrenaline coursing through me. I handed the tablet to the bailiff, watched him connect it to the courtroom's display system. The large screen on the wall flickered to life, and there was my mother. She looked so small, so fragile, propped up in her hospital bed at home, the one Marcus and Diane had insisted on so they could care for her properly. Her skin was paper-thin, her eyes sunken, her beautiful silver hair reduced to wisps. But her gaze was clear, sharp, determined. My name is Patricia Ann Holloway, she said, her voice weak but steady. Today is October 3rd. I'm recording this because I need someone to know the truth. I need my son Daniel to know the truth. Marcus made a sound, something between a gasp and a sob. Diane had her hand over her mouth, tears already streaming down her face, but not tears of grief, tears of fear. My children Marcus and Diane have been trying to get me to change my will, my mother continued. They want me to remove Daniel. They say he's abandoned me. They say he doesn't care. They say he's only interested in money. None of that is true. Daniel has been here every day. He's the only one who's been here. Marcus and Diane visit for an hour, maybe two, always with their lawyer, always talking about the estate, about what I should do with my money, about how Daniel doesn't deserve anything. She paused, took a shaky breath. On the video, I could see my own hand entering the frame, holding a glass of water with a straw. She sipped, nodded thanks. That's Daniel, she said, almost smiling. Always taking care of me. He quit his job to be here. Did you know that? He quit his job, gave up his apartment, moved into the guest room so he could be here 24 hours a day. He bathes me. He changes my sheets. He holds my hand when the pain is too much. He reads to me. He makes me laugh. He's everything a son should be. Judge Reeves was leaning forward now, her expression intent. The court reporter had resumed typing, her fingers flying across the keys. 2 days ago, my mother said, Marcus and Diane came with their lawyer. They had papers, a codicil they called it. They said if I didn't sign it, they'd have to put me in a facility. They said they couldn't afford to keep paying for home care. They said Daniel had agreed to it, that he thought it was best. I knew that was a lie. I asked to call Daniel to talk to him. They said he was busy. They said he didn't want to be bothered. They said if I really loved him, I'd sign the papers so he wouldn't have to deal with a contested estate after I died. Her voice broke. On the video, my hand appeared again, squeezing hers. I didn't sign, she said. I refused. And that night, Marcus told the nurse not to give me my pain medication. He said I needed to think clearly about my decision. I was in agony for 6 hours before Daniel came home and found me. He gave me the medication himself. He held me while I cried, and he told me to do whatever I needed to do to make them stop, to sign whatever they wanted, that he didn't care about money. He just wanted me to be comfortable. Tears were running down my face now. I didn't try to hide them. But I do care, my mother said fiercely. I care about the truth. I care about justice. I care about my son who sacrificed everything to be with me at the end. So I'm recording this, and I'm telling Daniel, if they try to take what's yours, if they try to erase you from my will, fight them. Show them this. Show everyone this. Don't let them win. She looked directly into the camera, directly at me across time and death. I love you, Daniel. You are the best of my children, the kindest, the most true. Don't ever doubt that. Don't ever let them make you doubt that. The video ended. The screen went black. The courtroom was silent except for the sound of Diane sobbing. Judge Reeves removed her glasses, set them on the bench. She looked at Marcus and Diane for a long moment, then at Brennan, then at me. "Ms. Brennan," she said quietly, "I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think very carefully before you answer. Did you know about this video?" "No, Your Honor. I swear Did your clients tell you that Daniel Holloway had been present during Patricia Holloway's final months?" Brennan looked at Marcus. He wouldn't meet her eyes. "Ms. Brennan, they said he'd been absent. They lied to you," Judge Reeves said flatly. "They lied to you, they lied to this court, and they attempted to defraud their brother of his rightful inheritance through elder abuse and coercion." She turned to the bailiff. "Contact the district attorney's office. I want an investigator here immediately. I'm referring this matter for criminal prosecution." "Your Honor, please." Marcus stood, his voice desperate. "We were just trying to protect our mother's assets. Daniel wasn't capable of—" "Sit down, Mr. Holloway." The judge's voice was ice. "You withheld pain medication from a dying woman to coerce her into signing legal documents. You isolated her from her son. You lied to officers of the court. You attempted to commit fraud. Sit down." Marcus sat. He looked like he might vomit. "The codicil is void," Judge Reeves continued. "Patricia Holloway's original will stands. The estate will be divided equally among her 3 children as she originally intended. Furthermore, I'm ordering an immediate investigation into the financial management of Mrs. Holloway's assets during her final months. If any funds were misappropriated, they will be recovered and added to the estate." She looked at me. Her expression softened slightly. "Mr. Holloway, Daniel, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry you had to fight for what should have been freely given. Your mother was clearly a remarkable woman who raised at least one remarkable son." "Thank you, Your Honor," I managed. "You're free to go. My clerk will contact you about the next steps in estate administration. Ms. Brennan, you and your clients will remain. We have much to discuss." I gathered my things, walked toward the courtroom doors. As I passed Marcus and Diane's table, Marcus grabbed my arm. "You bastard," he hissed. "You self-righteous bastard. You've destroyed us, destroyed the family." I looked down at his hand on my arm, then at his face. "I didn't destroy anything," I said quietly. "You did that yourself. The moment you decided money mattered more than Mom, more than me, more than truth. We're your family." "No," I interrupted. "You're people I share DNA with. Family is what Mom and I had, what you threw away." I pulled my arm free, walked out of the courtroom into the bright afternoon sun. The courthouse steps were crowded with people. Lawyers, defendants, families navigating their own crises. I sat down on a bench, let my bag drop beside me, and finally let myself feel it all. Relief, grief, vindication, loss. My phone buzzed. A text from my friend Sarah, who'd been waiting to hear how the hearing went. "Well," I typed back. "1. Tell you everything tonight." 3 dots appeared then. "Proud of you. Your mom would be proud of you." I stared at those words until they blurred. Would she be proud? Or would she be heartbroken that it came to this? That her children had torn each other apart over money, over inheritance, over things that didn't matter nearly as much as we'd all pretended they did? I thought about the video, about my mother's face, her determination, her love. She'd known. She'd known what Marcus and Diane were, what they were capable of, and she'd protected me the only way she could, with truth, recorded and preserved, waiting for the moment it would be needed. That was love. Real love. Not the performance Marcus and Diane had put on, the dutiful children act they'd maintained for lawyers and nurses and anyone who might matter, but the quiet, steady, sacrificial love that showed up every day, that held hands through pain, that fought for what was right, even from beyond the grave. I pulled out my phone, opened the video file, watched my mother's face again, listened to her voice. "You were the best of my children, the kindest, the most true." "I tried, Mom," I whispered to the screen. "I tried to be worthy of that." The courthouse doors opened behind me. I turned, expecting to see other people leaving. Instead, it was Diane, alone. Her makeup was ruined, her eyes red and swollen. She stood at the top of the steps, looking down at me. For a long moment, neither of us moved. Then she descended slowly, carefully, like each step hurt. She stopped a few feet away. "Can I sit?" she asked. I gestured to the bench. She sat, leaving space between us. We stared out at the street, at the traffic, at the ordinary world continuing around us. I'm sorry, she said finally. I didn't respond. I know that's not enough. I know sorry doesn't fix anything, but I need to say it. I'm sorry. For which part? I asked. For trying to steal my inheritance? For lying about me to Mom? For having me thrown out of her funeral? For withholding her pain medication? Which specific thing are you sorry for, Diane? She flinched. All of it. Everything. We were. She stopped, started again. Marcus convinced me you were the enemy, that you were manipulating Mom, isolating her, trying to take everything. He made it sound like we were protecting her, protecting the family. And you believed him. I wanted to believe him, because it was easier than admitting the truth, which was that I was jealous. Her voice broke. That I resented you for being the good one, the one who dropped everything to take care of her. I have a job, a husband, kids. I couldn't just quit my life to be there 24/7. And I hated that you could. Hated that you were willing to. Hated that it made me look bad by comparison. So you tried to destroy me. Yes. She was crying now, silent tears tracking through her makeup. Yes. And I'll never forgive myself for that. Never. I thought about forgiveness. About whether it was something I owed her, something she'd earned, something that mattered at all in the face of what she'd done. Mom forgave you, I said. In the video, she didn't say it explicitly, but she could have destroyed you both completely, could have detailed every cruelty, every lie, but she focused on the truth about me instead, on defending me. That was mercy, Diane. That was her giving you a chance to be better. I don't deserve it. Probably not. But that's what mercy is. Getting what you don't deserve. She looked at me, her eyes desperate. Can you forgive me? Can we ever be family again? I thought about that. Really thought about it. About whether blood was enough. Whether shared history could overcome betrayal. Whether forgiveness meant reconciliation or just release. I don't know, I said honestly. Right now I can barely look at you. But maybe someday. Maybe after you've proven you're different. That you've changed. That you're the sister I thought I had instead of the person who tried to erase me from our mother's life. How do I prove that? I don't know. That's your work to figure out, not mine. She nodded, wiped her eyes. Marcus won't apologize. He's too proud, too convinced he was right. I know. He's going to fight this, fight you. He'll appeal, he'll drag it out, he'll make it as painful as possible. Let him. I stood, picked up my bag. I have Mom's truth. I have the video. I have justice. He can fight all he wants. He's already lost. I walked away, down the courthouse steps, into the afternoon sun. Behind me, I heard Diane crying. I didn't turn back. 2 weeks after the hearing, I received a call from the estate attorney, not Brennan, but a new one appointed by the court to handle the administration impartially. Her name was Linda Vasquez, and her voice was warm but professional. Mr. Holloway, we've completed the preliminary audit of your mother's accounts. There are some irregularities we need to discuss. I met her at her office downtown, a modest space with family photos on the desk and law books lining the walls. She gestured for me to sit, then slid a folder across to me. Your brother Marcus made several large withdrawals from your mother's accounts during her final 3 months, totaling about $470,000. I stared at the numbers. $470,000? He claimed they were for medical expenses, home care, equipment, medications. But the actual medical bills only account for about $90,000. The rest is unaccounted for. He stole from her. That's what the evidence suggests. The DA is building a case. But I wanted you to know before it becomes public. This is going to get worse before it gets better. She was right. The story broke 3 days later. Local news picked it up first. Prominent developer accused of elder financial abuse. Then regional outlets. Then somehow it went national. The video my mother had recorded was leaked. I never found out by whom. And suddenly everyone was watching my mother's final testimony, hearing her describe what Marcus and Diane had done. The public response was savage. Marcus's development company lost clients. Diane's husband's law practice saw partners resign. Their social circles evaporated overnight. The court of public opinion delivered its verdict long before the criminal court would have its chance. I didn't take pleasure in their destruction. I just felt tired. Tired of fighting. tired of defending myself, tired of being the villain in their story when all I'd done was love our mother and tell the truth. The estate was finally settled 4 months after the hearing. $3.2 million divided equally 3 ways, $1.06 million each. After taxes and legal fees, I'd net about $700,000, life-changing money, security I'd never had. But it felt hollow, because what I really wanted, my mother alive, my family intact, the years of caregiving recognized not with money, but with simple acknowledgement. None of that could be bought or recovered or restored. I used part of the inheritance to start a foundation, the Patricia Holloway Fund for Family Caregivers. It provided grants to people who'd quit their jobs to care for dying relatives, helped with bills with respite care, with the 1,000 small expenses that accumulated when you chose love over income. It wasn't much, but it was something. It was my mother's money doing what she would have wanted, helping people who were doing what I'd done, what she'd valued most. Marcus was charged with elder financial abuse and fraud. He took a plea deal, 5 years probation, full restitution of the stolen funds, community service. No jail time. His lawyer argued that imprisonment would destroy his business, hurt his employees, cause more harm than good. The judge agreed. Justice, apparently, had limits when you could afford good lawyers. Diane wasn't charged. The DA said there wasn't enough evidence she'd known about the financial theft, and her cooperation in the investigation counted in her favor. She sent me a letter 6 months after the settlement. Long, handwritten, full of apologies and explanations and requests for forgiveness. I read it once, then put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'd respond, but not yet. I moved to Oregon, bought a small house near the coast with some of the inheritance, got a job at a nonprofit that helped low-income families navigate end-of-life care. The work was hard, emotionally draining but meaningful. Every family I helped felt like honoring my mother, like continuing the work we'd started together in those final months. Sarah visited often. She'd been my anchor through everything, the caregiving, the legal battle, the aftermath. We'd been friends since college, and somewhere during the chaos, that friendship had deepened into something more. Nothing dramatic, just the quiet recognition that we fit together, that we made each other better, that love didn't have to be complicated to be real. "Do you regret it?" she asked one evening. We were sitting on my porch, watching the sun set over the Pacific. "Fighting for the inheritance? You could have just walked away, let them have it, avoided all the pain." I thought about that, about the alternative timeline where I'd received that lawyer's letter, shrugged, accepted that I'd been erased from my mother's will, where I'd never filed the objection, never shown the video, never fought back. "No," I said, "not because of the money, because of the truth. Mom deserved to have her truth told. She recorded that video because she knew what they'd do. She trusted me to fight for her even after she was gone. I couldn't betray that trust. Even though it destroyed your relationship with your siblings, that relationship was already destroyed. I just refused to pretend otherwise." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Your mom would be proud of you." "I hope so." We sat in silence, watching the waves crash against the rocks below. The ocean was relentless, eternal, indifferent to human drama. It put things in perspective. The inheritance, the betrayal, the legal battle, all of it was so small against the vastness of the world, the brevity of life, the importance of the moments that actually mattered. My mother's final months had been the hardest of my life, but also the most meaningful. I had learned what I was capable of, what depths of patience and compassion and strength I could access when someone I loved needed me. I'd learned that doing the right thing often meant sacrifice, meant loss, meant standing alone against people who should have stood with you. But I'd also learned that truth had power, that love left evidence, that justice, however imperfect, was possible if you were willing to fight for it. A year after the settlement, I received an unexpected visitor. I was in my garden, planting tom car pulled into my driveway. Diane got out, looking older than I remembered, thinner, more uncertain. "Hi," she said, standing at the edge of the garden like she was afraid to come closer. "Hi," I replied, not standing, not stopping my work. I was in Portland for a conference. Thought I'd drive down. Hope that's okay. It's a free country. She winced at the coldness in my voice. "Can we talk?" "We're talking." "Daniel, please, I drove hours. Just give me 10 minutes. I set down my trowel, wiped my hands on my jeans, stood up. 10 minutes. We sat on the porch steps. She looked out at the ocean, gathering her thoughts. "I've been in therapy," she said finally, "twice a week for the past year, trying to understand why I did what I did, why I let Marcus convince me, why I betrayed you. And what did you learn? That I've spent my whole life trying to be perfect. The perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect mother. And when Mom got sick, when she needed real care, not just visits and flowers and cheerful conversation, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be that person. And I hated you for being able to, for being willing to. So you tried to destroy me. Yes, because if you were the villain, then I wasn't the failure. If you were manipulating Mom, stealing from her, isolating her, then my absence was justified. Protective even. I needed you to be wrong so I could be right. That's very self-aware," I said. "Doesn't change what you did. I know, I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not even asking for reconciliation. I just wanted you to know that I understand now, that I see what I did, that I'm trying to be better. Why does that matter to me? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it shouldn't. But you're my brother. And even though I don't deserve your forgiveness, I needed you to know I'm trying to earn it, even if it's the rest of my life." I looked at her, really looked at her, saw the lines around her eyes, the gray in her hair, the weight of guilt she carried. She looked like our mother had in those final months, diminished, fragile, fighting against something that was consuming her from within. "Mom loved you," I said quietly. "Even after everything. Even in that video, she didn't curse you, didn't condemn you. She just told the truth. That's grace, Diane. That's what real love looks like. I know. Do you? Because I don't think you do. I think you're here because you feel guilty, because you want absolution, because you want me to tell you it's okay, you're forgiven, we can be family again. But that's not how this works. You don't get to hurt someone and then demand they make you feel better about it." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come." She stood, started toward her car. I watched her go, felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet, but maybe the beginning of something. The recognition that holding on to anger was its own kind of prison. "Diane," I called. She turned. "Send me your therapist's information. I've been thinking about going myself. Dealing with everything. Might help to talk to someone who helped you." Her face crumpled with relief and gratitude. "Really? Really. And maybe in a few months we could have coffee, talk, see if there's anything left to build on." "I'd like that. I'd really like that." She drove away. I went back to my garden, back to the tomatoes that needed planting, the earth that needed tending, the work of growing things, the work of building a life from the ruins of what had been. That night I pulled out my mother's video, watched it again, as I did sometimes when I needed to remember why I'd fought, what I'd been fighting for. "You were the best of my children," she said. "The kindest, the most true." "I'm trying, Mom," I said to the screen. "I'm trying to stay true, to stay kind, even when it's hard, even when it hurts." The video ended. I closed my laptop, looked out at the ocean, at the stars emerging in the darkening sky. Somewhere, Marcus was living with his choices. Somewhere, Diane was trying to become someone better. And here, in this small house by the sea, I was learning to live with mine. I'd fought for truth, for justice, for my mother's final wishes. I'd won, in the ways that mattered. But victory felt different than I'd expected. Not triumphant, just quiet. Just the steady knowledge that I'd done what was right, even when it cost me everything. That was enough. It had to be enough. Because in the end, that was all we had. The choices we made, the stands we took, the truth we defended when everyone else wanted comfortable lies. I'd chosen truth. I'd chosen my mother. I'd chosen to fight. And I'd do it again. Every single time. I sat in the small conference room of the district attorney's office, watching Assistant DA Rebecca Torres review the file one more time. It had been 18 months since the courthouse hearing, 14 months since Marcus's plea deal, and now she was telling me there might be more. "We've been investigating the nurse," she said, tapping a photograph clipped to the folder. "The one who testified at the hearing, claimed she'd worked for your mother, claimed you were never there." "I'd never seen her before that day," I said. "That's because she never worked for your mother. Her name is Jennifer Kaplan. She's a licensed practical nurse, but she was never employed by any agency that provided care to Patricia Holloway. Your brother paid her $5,000 to lie under oath. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. You can prove that? Bank records, text messages. She kept everything, thank God. Got nervous after the video went public. Thought she might need leverage if Marcus tried to throw her under the bus. Torres smiled grimly. Turns out she was right to be paranoid. What does this mean? It means we're reopening the case. Marcus's plea deal was based on incomplete information. He didn't just steal from your mother and coerce her into changing her will. He suborned perjury. He orchestrated a conspiracy to defraud the court. That's a different level of criminal conduct. Will he go to prison? Possibly, probably. The judge who approved his plea deal is not going to be happy about being deceived. And Judge Reeves, who presided over the probate hearing, has already submitted a formal complaint to the state bar about the attorney who represented Marcus. This is going to get bigger before it's over. I should have felt vindicated. Should have felt that justice was finally, truly being served. But mostly I just felt exhausted. How much more could this family be torn apart? How many more revelations, how many more betrayals, how many more courtrooms and lawyers and official proceedings? Do you need me to testify? I asked. Probably. We'll let you know. She closed the file, looked at me with something like sympathy. I know this is hard. I know you probably just want it to be over. But your mother deserves the full truth to come out. All of it. I know, I said. I just wish the truth didn't hurt so much. I drove back to Oregon that afternoon, the 5-hour journey giving me too much time to think. About Marcus, about what desperation or greed or twisted logic had led him to not just steal and coerce, but to manufacture false witnesses, to construct an elaborate lie, to risk everything on a fraud that was always going to unravel. About Diane, who'd been trying so hard to change, who'd been building something like redemption. How would this news affect her? Would it pull her back into Marcus's orbit, family loyalty overriding everything else? Or would it be the final break, the moment she chose truth over blood? About my mother, who'd known she was dying and had used her last energy to protect me, to leave evidence to ensure that truth would survive even when she couldn't. What would she think of all this? Would she be satisfied that justice was being done? Or would she be heartbroken that her children had destroyed each other so completely? Sarah was waiting when I got home, dinner already made, wine already poured. She took one look at my face and pulled me into a hug. Bad news? She asked. Complicated news. I told her everything. The nurse, the perjury, the reopened case. She listened without interrupting, her hand in mine, her presence the only thing keeping me grounded. What are you going to do? She asked when I finished. Testify, if they need me. Tell the truth, like always. What else can I do? You could walk away. You could tell them you're done, you've given enough, you need to move on with your life. Could I, though? Could I really do that? She studied my face. No, I don't think you could. It's not who you are. She was right. For better or worse, I was the person who showed up, who told the truth, who fought for what was right even when it cost me everything. My mother had raised me that way, had modeled it in how she lived, how she loved, how she'd used her dying breath to protect me. I couldn't betray that, couldn't betray her, even if it meant more pain, more courtrooms, more family destruction. The new charges were filed 3 weeks later. Marcus was arrested at his office, led out in handcuffs while employees and clients watched. The news coverage was brutal. His mugshot was everywhere. The successful developer brought low. The dutiful son revealed as a fraud. Diane called me that night. Did you know? Her voice was raw, accusatory. Did you know they were going to arrest him? The DA told me they were reopening the case. I didn't know when. He's my brother, Daniel. Our brother. How can you just stand by and watch them destroy him? I'm not destroying him. He destroyed himself. He hired a fake nurse to lie in court, Diane. He committed perjury. He committed fraud. Those are his choices, not mine. You could ask them to drop the charges. You could tell them you don't want to pursue this. I could, but I won't. Because Mom deserves justice. Real justice. Not the watered-down plea deal Marcus got before. Not probation and community service for stealing from a dying woman and trying to erase her son from her life. Actual consequences. Actual accountability. So you want him in prison? I want him to face the truth of what he did. If that means prison, then yes, that's what I want. She was crying now. I thought you were different. I thought you were the good one. But you're just as vindictive as he is. Just as cruel. Maybe, I said. Or maybe I'm just done protecting people from the consequences of their own actions. Maybe I'm done being the one who sacrifices for everyone else's comfort. Maybe I'm done being the good one if being good means letting bad things go unpunished. She hung up. I stared at the phone, feeling something break inside me. The last thread connecting me to my siblings, finally severed. We were strangers now. Worse than strangers. We were people who'd once loved each other, and now couldn't even speak without causing pain. The trial was set for 6 months later. Marcus's new attorney, his third, after the first two withdrew when the perjury evidence emerged, tried every delay tactic imaginable. But Judge Reeves, who'd taken a personal interest in the case after learning she'd been lied to in her own courtroom, denied every motion. I testified on a Tuesday in March. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, legal observers, people who'd followed the case from the beginning. I took the stand, placed my hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. And I did. I told them everything. About my mother's final months, about the care I'd provided, about Marcus and Diane's visits with their lawyer, about the codicil, the threats, the withheld medication, about finding the video on my phone, about my mother's instructions, about her trust that I would fight for her. Marcus's attorney tried to shake me on cross-examination, suggested I'd manipulated my mother, isolated her, recorded the video under duress, but I had documentation, medical records showing I'd been the primary caregiver, testimony from the actual nurses who'd worked with us, emails and texts proving my mother's mental clarity. The fake nurse Jennifer Kaplan testified next. She'd taken an immunity deal in exchange for her cooperation. She described how Marcus had approached her, offered her money to pose as my mother's nurse, coached her on what to say. She looked ashamed, broken, but she told the truth. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts: elder financial abuse, fraud, perjury, conspiracy. Marcus showed no emotion when the verdict was read, just stared straight ahead, his face blank, his hands folded on the table. Sentencing was set for 6 weeks later. The prosecution recommended 8 years. The defense argued for probation, citing Marcus's previously clean record, his cooperation, such as it was, his family obligations. Judge Reeves listened to both sides. Then she looked at Marcus. "Mr. Holloway, you had every advantage in life: wealth, education, opportunity. Your mother loved you. Your brother loved you. You could have been anything, done anything. Instead, you chose to prey on a dying woman. You chose to steal from her. You chose to coerce her. You chose to manufacture false testimony to cover your crimes. And when you were caught, you chose to minimize and deflect rather than accept responsibility." She paused. Let the words sink in. "This court sentences you to 6 years in state prison, followed by 5 years supervised probation. You will pay full restitution to the estate, plus damages. You will have no contact with your brother Daniel unless he initiates it. And you will register as having committed a crime of elder abuse which will follow you for the rest of your life." Marcus's face finally cracked. He looked at me, across the courtroom, and I saw something in his eyes. Not remorse, not apology, just rage. Pure, undiluted rage that I'd won, that he'd lost, that the world had sided with me instead of him. I looked back steadily, didn't flinch, didn't look away, let him see that I wasn't afraid anymore. Wasn't the little brother he could intimidate or manipulate or erase. He was led away in handcuffs. The courtroom emptied. I sat alone in the back row, feeling the weight of everything that had happened, everything that had been lost, everything that could never be recovered. Rebecca Torres found me there 20 minutes later. "You okay?" "I don't know. Am I supposed to feel good about this? About my brother going to prison?" "You're supposed to feel however you feel. There's no right way to process this. I keep thinking about when we were kids before money complicated everything. Before Dad died and left Mom the company. Before inheritance became something to fight over. We were close once. We were brothers. You're still brothers, that doesn't change, doesn't it? Because it feels like we're strangers who happen to share DNA. It feels like everything that made us family is gone." She sat down beside me. "Family is complicated. It's not just blood. It's not just shared history, it's choices, it's showing up. It's doing the hard thing even when it hurts. You did that, you showed up for your mother. You told the truth. You fought for justice. That's family. That's what it means to honor the people we love. Even when it destroys everyone else. You didn't destroy anyone. They destroyed themselves. You just refused to help them hide it. I knew she was right. Intellectually, I knew. But emotionally, I felt like I'd taken a sledgehammer to my family and watched it shatter into pieces that could never be reassembled. Diane didn't attend the sentencing, didn't call afterward. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd moved to Arizona, started over somewhere no one knew her story. I hoped she found peace there, hoped she found a way to live with what had happened, with the choices she'd made and the consequences that followed. I drove home to Oregon, to Sarah, to the life I'd built from the ruins. The foundation was thriving. We'd helped 43 families in the past year, provided over $200,000 in grants and support, my mother's money, doing what she would have wanted. That night I pulled out the video one last time, watched my mother's face, listened to her voice, heard her final message. "Don't let them win," she said. "I didn't, Mom," I whispered. "They lost. Justice won. Truth won. You won." But victory felt hollow. Because what I really wanted, my family intact, my siblings redeemed, the years of pain erased, none of that was possible. Justice had been served, but it hadn't healed anything, hadn't restored anything, had only confirmed that some things once broken, stay broken. I closed the laptop, looked out at the ocean, at the waves that kept coming regardless of human drama, regardless of pain or loss, or the complicated mathematics of right and wrong. My mother had trusted me to fight for her. I had. I'd won every battle. The probate hearing, the criminal trial, the final reckoning. But I'd lost my family in the process. Lost my siblings. Lost the possibility of reconciliation. Lost the dream that love could overcome everything. Maybe that was the real cost of truth. Not just the fight to establish it, but the loneliness that came after. The knowledge that you'd done the right thing, but the right thing had left you standing alone. Sarah found me there an hour later, sat beside me, took my hand. "It's over," she said gently. "Is it? Because it doesn't feel over. It feels like it's going to hurt forever. Maybe it will. Maybe some things don't stop hurting, but you survive them. You build a life around them. You find meaning despite them. How? By remembering why you fought, by honoring what your mother taught you, by helping other people avoid what you went through, by choosing every day to be the person she believed you were." I leaned into her, let her hold me while I finally cried. For my mother, for my siblings, for the family we'd been and would never be again, for the cost of truth and the weight of justice and the loneliness of doing the right thing when everyone else chose wrong. "She'd be proud of you," Sarah said into my hair. "I hope so," I said. "God, I hope so. Because if she's not, if this was all for nothing, I don't know how to live with that. It wasn't for nothing. You gave her peace. You honored her wishes. You made sure her truth survived. That matters, Daniel. That will always matter." I wanted to believe her. Wanted to believe that the pain had purpose, that the sacrifice had meaning, that standing alone was better than standing with people who'd chosen lies over love. Maybe someday I would believe it. Maybe someday the weight would feel lighter, the loneliness less sharp, the victory less hollow. But tonight, I just held on to Sarah and watched the ocean and tried to remember my mother's face before the cancer, before the pain, before her children had torn each other apart over money that didn't matter nearly as much as we'd all pretended it did. Tonight, I mourned for what was lost, for what could never be recovered, for the family that had died long before my mother did, killed not by illness but by greed and pride and the terrible choices we make when we forget that love is supposed to matter more than anything else. Tomorrow, I would get up, would go to work, would help other families navigate the impossible terrain of caregiving and loss, would honor my mother by being the person she'd raised me to be. But tonight, I let myself grieve, for all of us, for everything we'd lost, for the truth that had set me free but left me standing alone,